My pride is nothing compared to my kinsmen's suffering. Their eyes were stolen from every single body, all of them killed for what death creates. So I've sworn to capture the Phantom Troop and recover the eyes of my clan. Hello and welcome to Hunter x Hunter 101, the series that breaks down everyone and everything in the Hunter x Hunter world. Today, we are going to be investigating the last surviving member of the Kurta clan, Kurapika. Kurapika is a very reticent yet extraordinarily intelligent young man who was first introduced in the series during the Hunter exam arc. He is presented as quiet and reserved, but with a high degree of analytical ability, although with all of that said, it should also be noted that Kurapika is very easily swayed by emotion, particularly that of sadness, anger, and hatred. And you know what? It's pretty hard to blame him for all of that, given his circumstances. Kurapika was born into the Kurta clan, located in the Luxo province, and this group of people were famous for producing individuals with the ability to turn their eyes scarlet when they become emotionally agitated. Unfortunately, as a result of the perceived beauty of the scarlet color, these eyes became highly sought after by flesh collectors, and given their rarity, they have sold for amounts ranging from between 900 million to 2 billion jenny throughout the world, thus making Kurta clan members a prized commodity. During his adolescence, Kurapika was blissfully unaware of this fact and spent his time studying and training hard in order to be granted permission to explore the outside world with the goal of finding a doctor to heal his childhood friend, Pyro. During this time was also when Kurapika first became aware of the hunter profession, after saving an outsider named Sheila, who as thanks gave Kurapika and Pyro a book detailing the adventures of a professional hunter, which the two children read religiously. Eventually, Kurapika was able to pass all of the tests required to venture into the outside world with unrestricted access. And so he set out on his mission to find a doctor for Pyro, promising him that he will return and that the two would venture out together once he was healed. However, 6 weeks after Kurapika's departure, an organization known as the Phantom Troop massacred the Kurta clan, including Pyro, and harvested all of the scarlet eyes that they could. After discovering the news, Kurapika, filled with profound anger and despair, then vowed to reclaim all of the stolen eyes, as well as bring the Phantom Troop to justice. In doing so, Kurapika, in a sort of twisted manner, decided to pursue he and Pyro's childhood fancy of becoming a hunter, although it was not for the sake of adventure, but rather to acquire the qualifications necessary to make his revenge mission possible. And so as a result, Kurapika became embroiled in the 287th Hunter exam. During this exam, he became entangled with the protagonistic trio of Gon, Leorio, and Killua, and all four of them went on to greatly assist one another, and a very lonely Kurapika even came to consider them friends. A huge step forward, given his state of being at the time. But even with these bonds developing, Kurapika remained highly introverted and maintained a singular focus on his ultimate goal, which he took a step towards by passing the final phase of the exam and obtaining his hunter's license. However, unbeknownst to Kurapika, this was not in fact the end of the hunter exam, and he found himself unable to acquire work until he had mastered the basic principles of Nen. In this effort, he was trained by a currently unknown hunter who managed to teach the basic principles of the art form to Kurapika within 6 months, which is particularly incredible considering that Kurapika's individual Nen abilities are a bit more complex than your average user. This is because Kurapika is a natural conjurer, which is a class that allows its user to create material objects from their aura. However, when Kurapika activates his scarlet eyes, his Nen class changes from conjurer to that of a specialist. Furthermore, Kurapika has also gone on to explore and incorporate elements of enhancement, manipulation, and emission, making him one of the most well-rounded Nen users in the entire series. However, his proficiency within these areas spawns directly from the fact that he can become a specialist at will, which grants Kurapika access to a Hatsu known as Emperor Time. This allows Kurapika to utilize all forms of Nen at 100% efficiency, although that maximum is still limited by his natural classification as a conjurer. So in that regard, Kurapika will still be outclassed by any natural master of his lesser affinities, but it does grant him a preposterous amount of utility in his own Nen usage. And this has culminated in the creation of the ultimate weapon for Kurapika to wield in his quest to take revenge on the Phantom Troop. Essentially, it involves a series of 5 chains, each controlled by one of Kurapika's fingers on his right hand. Each of these chains contains a unique ability of its own, starting with the Dowsing Chain, in which Kurapika conjures a device which can be used to detect the location of individuals and even be used to determine whether or not someone is lying. Furthermore, with Emperor Time active, this chain is enhanced, and Kurapika can tell if a person is lying on a video recording, provided that he has met the individual in question before. Next up is Chain Jail, which is a binding technique designed to capture enemies by forcing them into a state of Zetsu, thus closing off the target's aura and forbidding the use of Nen. So the only way out of the bindings would be by brute force, and well, even that's pretty much impossible. However, in the case of Chain Jail, Kurapika has placed a condition on the technique's usage in order to increase its potency, which is that it can only be used on a member of the Phantom Troop. Should Kurapika break this condition, it would result in his immediate death. Then we have Holy Chain, a combination of conjuration and enhancement, which acts as a basic method of healing. However, whilst in his specialist state, Holy Chain can heal severe injuries, such as a fractured arm, within mere seconds. Fourth on the list is Judgement Chain, a funky combination of conjuration, manipulation, and emission, whereby Kurapika penetrates the body of his target with a Nen blade known as the Stake of Retribution, which wraps itself dangerously around their heart. Kurapika is then able to issue his unfortunate target with up to 2 commands, and should they disobey, the blade will immediately penetrate their heart, thus killing them. Quite notably, Kurapika has actually used the Judgement Chain on himself, which was the mechanism by which he was able to set the condition for chain jail. Although it should be stated that in order to invoke the Judgement Chain, Kurapika must already be using Emperor time due to his minor affinity in the areas of manipulation and emission. And finally, we have Steel Chain. Steel as in S-T-E-A-L rather than S-T-E-E-L, because this Hatsu involves the theft of the Nen abilities of others. To do this, Kurapika conjures a syringe, which once injected into an opponent, will drain their Nen and allow the theft of one of their abilities, rendering the target unable to use said ability until it is returned to them. To assist with Steel Chain, Kurapika also has a non-chain related Hatsu known as Stealth Dolphin, which is by far one of the most adorably named Nen abilities in the entire series, and it's more of an accessory that allows him to equip and analyze abilities taken with Steel Chain, as well as loan those abilities to others. So yes, Kurapika very rapidly went on to master and apply Nen extraordinarily efficiently to his own personal goals. And whilst he does sound incredibly overpowered at the moment, this usage does come at quite a hefty cost, as to engage in most of his abilities at maximum potency, and for some of them just at all, Kurapika must activate Emperor time, which drains his overall lifespan by 1 hour for every second he spends in that mode. But in any case, after acquiring his Nen arsenal, Kurapika began to seek out the eyes of his clan and secured a job as a bodyguard for a flesh collector. Quite notably, this is where Kurapika met Melody, a music hunter who would become a close ally of his. But Kurapika's first task as a bodyguard involved traveling to York New City and protecting his boss as he attended an underground auction. Now that very same auction would come to be attacked by the Phantom Troop, leading to a complex series of events in which Kurapika masterfully made use of his position to commence his vengeance against the troop. This resulted in Kurapika managing to kill both Uvogin and Pakunora with his Judgement Chain ability. And furthermore, he was also able to ensnare Crawler Lucifer, the leader of the Phantom Troop, with the chain as well, forbidding Crawler from using Nen or communicating with other troop members. So yeah, a pretty successful first stab at vengeance against an infamous group of thieves, all of whom possess Class A bounties. And yes, Kurapika did cater his Nen ability specifically to combat the Phantom Troop. However, what this conflict shone a light on most was Kurapika's phenomenal skill as a master strategist and a natural-born leader. Sadly, the whole York New City arc also very much conveyed just how deeply Kurapika's lust for vengeance really is, placing him on a very ruthless and self-destructive path, whereby he actively isolated himself from his friends in order to track down the Scarlet Eyes of the Kurta clan. This mission consumed him so much that he was not present for the 13th Hunter Chairman election, nor did Kurapika visit Gon in hospital following the events of the Chimerant arc. And here's where we're going to put up a brief spoiler warning for the events of the manga that have not yet been animated. If you do not wish to know anything, please skip to the following time, but for everyone else, here we go. And so Kurapika's activities would remain in the background of the story until he was approached by Mizai Storm Nana, one of the members of the Zodiacs. Mizai Storm offered Kurapika knowledge regarding the whereabouts of a large number of Scarlet Eyes in exchange for his assistance accompanying them to the Dark Continent. In doing so, Kurapika effectively joined the Zodiacs, obtaining the codename of Rat. However, en route to the Dark Continent, Kurapika has now become embroiled in a deadly succession war taking place amongst the princes of the Kakin Empire, and is currently serving to protect the 14th Prince, Wobble. Some more fun facts about Kurapika. Kurapika is thus far the only character in the entire series who falls under two natural Nen categories, being Conjuration and Specialization, via the use of his Scarlet Eyes. Furthermore, in addition to his extraordinary physical and Nen-related abilities, Kurapika is also a master of general weaponry and has been shown capable of wielding a bokken, knives, and shuriken. Quite the deadly gent, really. Among the four main protagonists of Hunter x Hunter, Kurapika is the only one for whom we still do not have a full name, and as a result, fans have taken to calling him Kurapika Kurta, by just plonking on the name of his clan. Speaking of though, Kurapika, as with many other characters in the series, has a name that is subject to a wide variety of different romanizations, ranging from some basic differences such as Kurapika with a C rather than a K at the end, to the truly mind-boggling Kurarpikt, which comes to us, rather sadly, courtesy of the official Hunter x Hunter databook. Kurapika has maintained a consistent streak of popularity during the entire run of Hunter x Hunter, having secured the second place position in all three character popularity polls conducted by Weekly Shonen Jump. However, it has been noted that during the first poll, many fans were quite confused about his gender, which allegedly led him to receiving many points. And finally, a truly useless fact. Despite the fact that Kurapika wears 2 earrings throughout the entirety of the series, only one has ever been shown. Well, except for the 1999 anime version, where they displayed both, but only once. But that pretty much does it for Kurapika. If you enjoyed this video and the content this channel produces in general, then please do consider donating to the New World Review Patreon, because the support of all of you amazing people is what continues to make this channel possible. And if Patreon isn't quite your style, then please do leave this video a like, share, or subscribe, because it also helps support this channel an incredible amount. And if you'd like to join the fun at any time, then please do head over to my Discord server, where a wide array of shenaniganry takes place on a daily basis. And finally, please do comment with who, what, or where you'd like to see featured on the next Hunter x Hunter 101. And as for the final skill, which I did not mention, get this. Kurapika is so incredible that he is capable of holding 2 trays of green things at the same time. Wow.